Please welcome Bilyana de Soto.
You know, you can tell quite a lot about a relationship by the way that people relate to each other. The kind of body language that people use, the tone of voice, just that level of confidence that they may be showing towards each other as they speak. It's really lovely to observe people who have that sort of certain familiarity and a certain playfulness and a certain trusting of each other. You know, you can also tell quite a lot, I believe, by the relationship that we have with God, by the way that we approach Him, and by how we actually relate to Him. I would like to illustrate this whole concept about who God is and how He wants to relate to us by the story of two thrones. The story of Esther, I'm sure, is very familiar to most of you. The Persian kingdom stretched from India to Ethiopia, ruling over 23 countries and spreading well and truly over 3 continents. The defeated nations had to form a very humble procession carrying their tribute money and gifts from one royal building to another past huge colonnades. It was actually a procession of humiliation to the throne of the king. Now, in the story of Esther, it was King Xerxes who was presiding over these 23 nations at the time. And in his court, entering the king's presence without permission carried a death penalty. This law was not taken lightly at all by the citizens at the time. And if you've read the book of Esther, you know that Esther herself, being the queen, was subject to the same strict and very rigorous and very daunting laws. If she approached the king on his throne, she herself could have died. There was a huge distrust in the kingdom. Assassinations were common. And the throne of the king was a veritable fortress. And it was all intended to weed out the possible intruders, those who were unwelcome, those who were less important, and those who were less worthy. They were all delegated to a lesser rank and therefore did not have the opportunity of entering the king's presence nor royalty in any shape or form. Now, Queen Esther collected her courage and approached the throne. There was fear and trepidation on her part, and it took a lot of preparation for her to come into the presence of the king without an invitation. For Esther, it was very really the possibility that through approaching King Xerxes, she could very really lose her life. Now, I would like you to picture a different throne, a different scene altogether. This is approaching none other than the throne of God, the King of the universe. Instead of limited accessibility, this King is always available, eternally ready for us to approach him. Now, thanks to Max Lucado, I would like to just illustrate a little bit of how we can allow our imagination to take us into God's presence. You walk through the archways of this magnificent royal court. As you reach the majestic entrance of the throne room, you nervously peer through the hallway and see the king on his spectacular throne. Angelic-like creatures, as royal guards, are all posted along the wall and sentries are standing all around. You hear music and you hear song, and there is a sense of joy. But these sentries and these guards, they don't stop you. They in fact smile and encourage you to move right along into the presence of the King. They don't ask you for any credentials, no letters, no signatures, nothing at all. There is no protocol that you need to satisfy. For as you enter the throne room of God, you say words which bring the King rushing through you. In fact, it's only one word, and it's Abba. There is immediate recognition of who you are. Abba, this is Father, an endearing term for father. Dad, this King is actually your dad. You already have royal blood flowing through your veins. You recognize these courts. You've been invited many, many times to come into the presence of the King. He is actually your father. Quite a different scene to the throne of Xerxes. In the book of Hebrews in the Bible, we are invited to come boldly into the presence of God. Now, this word boldly, well, it's quite bold. You could say very confidently. Don't be timid. Don't be shy. Don't behave like a stranger. Come boldly. Now, why would you be able to come so boldly? Why are you invited to come so boldly into the presence of none other than the Creator and the King of the universe? The Bible gives us an answer. It says, "For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weakness, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of our need." In Jesus and through faith in Him, we may approach the throne of grace. What a different combination of words there. You don't normally associate the words throne and royalty, with the words mercy and grace. But, like Esther, we have been given royal robes, and that is why we can approach the throne of grace with confidence, because royal robes, they signify that you belong. They signify acceptance. They signify appropriate lineage. Your Father, Abba Father, is none other than Jesus Christ. So let's rejoice as we come into the presence of God via Jesus to the throne of grace.
To help you understand God's Word in a whole new way, go to goodnewsunlimited.com. You can sign up there to get your free devotional delivered to you each day. This program has been paid for by the partners and friends of Good News Unlimited. Word spreads fast.